in my industry. That's been going on ever since the liberals decided that they had to have a scapegoat in medicine. But it turns out that there's a Medicare pay fix that should have been in place since 1997 in the Omnibus and Reconciliation Act of 97. And every year there was supposed to be mandatory pay cuts in the order of between 1% and 3% to try to make it sustainable. You see, that's the way big government manages expenses. They just cut reimbursement unilaterally. Well, every year the doctor's lobby has been successful, and so is the hospital lobby on their side, saying, wait a minute, costs are going up. You're not regulating the cost of our tongue blades, our insurance for our employees, our malpractice premiums, and on and on and on, and yet you price fix on the other side. So they successfully had great victories, which are trumpeted in our literature that says, well, we didn't have a cut this year, we negotiated a 0.5% increase. It turns out that, for instance, for an inguinal hernia, when you get the bulge because, guys, your better half had you do a something that you probably shouldn't have. A surgeon gets about $400 for that procedure. Now, we're about 20% behind in the Medicare fix in terms of the cut in reimbursements that should have been going on for over a decade now. Next year, unless something's done, in 2010, January, the reimbursements are going to be unilaterally cut between 20 and 30%, depending on which type of doctor you go. Anesthesia 30%, surgeons 20%, and on and on and on. And it's projected that that same hernia that last year was reimbursed about $400, by 2015 will be reimbursed at $250, and about 5 years later, about $145. Now, a little bit more about the other side of the stethoscope. Some people have said, but Randy, you don't understand. I mean, why $400 for an hour-long procedure? What are you talking about? When your doctor operates on you, the procedure is a bundled procedure. Medicare and the private insurers that follow in lockstep, and they really pattern their reimbursement after Medicare, says that the pre-op care, including the pre-op preparatory visit, all of the time spent documenting, writing orders, showing up at the hospital, waiting for the doctor before you to be late, doing the operation, talking to the patient's family afterwards, all very good things. We all agree those should be done. And the post-op care, whether it's 1, 2, 6, or 5 visits, between 6 and 12 weeks after the surgery, are all bundled under that one model. Now let's just do some math here. Let's just do some math. Let's say 5 years from now, you come in with a bulge in your groin, and your doctor knows that he's getting paid $145 if the projected cuts come along, and that's what we're looking at, whether it's HR 3200 or Baucus's bill. They're all talking about cutting Medicare. They're not going to cut services, they're going to cut reimbursements. I just want you to blend your knowledge of human behavior, because you all look like you are, in fact, well, most of you are younger. Some of you are older, smarter, and better. Do you really want your doctor getting paid $145 for what, on average, for a procedure like that, involves about 4 hours of work? Think about it. You may have heard my story. Back in the mid-90s, I had to have neurosurgery. They had to crack my skull, flip my forehead forward. The facial plastic surgeon still couldn't get it right, but it was a 7-hour operation. A 7-hour operation. And later on, they had to go up and take out half my pituitary for a strange and rare exotic hormonal problem like that. But around that time, I heard a famous St. Louis radio personality on another station who used to be mighty, but no longer is, thanks to you all, say that, you know, doctors make too much. I was recovering from that 7-hour surgery, and I thought, boy, you know, I don't know if my surgeon saved my life with that procedure. He may have made $2,000 or $3,000. I don't know whether that was really too much. You heard Barack Obama in an interview earlier this summer say, whoa, what are we going to do about the guy that doesn't have insurance and he's got a terrible car accident, he goes into the emergency room and he wakes up 2 hours later and his life is saved and he's got a $10,000 bill. Hello? $10,000 to save your life? The demagoguery in terms of doctor salaries that really follows across the board has got to stop. Can you play clip 2?
So if they're looking and you come in and you've got a bad sore throat,
had sore throat or has repeated sore throats. The doctor may look at the reimbursement system and say to himself, you know what, I may go on my way if I take this kid's tonsils out. Now again, I'm beginning to wonder, when I hear this allegedly brilliant man who will be the leader of the whole world, much less the free world, say that the doctor that takes the tonsils out has some kind of perverse incentive. I don't know, maybe his children never had a sore throat, maybe he's never known children that have sore throat. But in fact, the pediatrician who refers your child with a sore throat to the surgeon has no skin in that game. He doesn't benefit. There's not a kickback scheme going on. The person, the pediatrician, in fact, if Barack Obama wanted to really be very absurdly cunning in his argument, could have said, well, wait a minute, we're paying people to write antibiotics for sore throats and sore ears. Maybe we should actually do the procedure sooner if we wanted to save money. I mean, if he was going to be honest about it. Because the pediatrician writes the prescription for the antibiotics. When they don't work, the pediatrician makes the referral to the surgeon. The surgeon has no skin in the game and no motivation to do the surgery until he's sent the patient. So Barack Obama misportrays the motivations and I think the ethics of most of the physicians I know. And in this town, we're blessed with two great medical schools, another great hospital out in West County, several of them, one across the street, St. John's, Missouri, Annapolis. Maybe I've been lucky to fly to the Eagles, but I don't know doctors that operate because they make money. I know doctors that want to try to help people get better, and in fact, are continually, day after day, minute after minute, throwing one hurdle after another by government policies, government regulation, compliance, and on and on and on. You begin to wonder when you hear Barack Obama make absurd statements, whether he is just a very conniving left-wing ideologue who wants to take over the world, or it occurred to me the other day, I watched a movie called Forrest Gump. And I turned to my wife and I said, maybe we know very little about his past. Of course, that's true of Jesus, too. But that's another story. There were the lost years. Maybe he's just Barack Gump. So, it's one way or another. Either he is absolutely disconnected, misinformed, and we just have to forgive him for his right head, or it's much more sinister. I fear it may be the latter. I hope that he's Barack Gump. I'm afraid he's the secular equivalent of Nicholas Spartacus. I don't know. I said the secular equivalent. So, let's talk real briefly about what's wrong and how I think we need to fix it. First of all, we've got three major problems with our healthcare system. One is, for all of us, the cost is going up at a higher rate than the cost of inflation. Two things about that. A, so is the technology. The technology in medical innovation is going at a half-life of about 2 to 3 years now. It used to be 7 when I was in medical school. We don't get the same market basket full of medical goods in 2009 as we did in 1990. It's an entirely different world. So, in general, you would expect to pay more.